G2 want to play it against Fnatic, I think they're playing it against the masses, and it's not a good idea.
Yeah, do you think the reason why they've been 4-0 with these funnel comps is because they've just not played against a good enough caliber of teams that can pull off?
The crazy part about the funnel comp is that if you make one mistake against it, then it just takes over and you lose.
Yeah.
And I think it's the same way the other way around, and I don't think it has been punished. We've seen games where these comps fall behind, but they come back with some sneaky Baron. And I think it comes down to who managed to snowball first, and I think it's in the hand of the team that doesn't have the funnel comp.
Let's see. Braum is already off the table, so Fnatic saying,
That makes
Jankos,
funneling
you can
much
have
less
that.
likely, I
Jankos
will
maybe
say.
a bit happy.
I really like the Braum plus the Kai'Sa as far as the funneling goes. And I mean, we have seen Kai'Sa paired up with stuff like the Nunu, but for me, that just doesn't sit as well in my stomach as the Kai'Sa plus Braum.
I'm loving the...
Swain is locked in immediately, could be for Soaz or for Bwipo in the bottom lane, or somewhere else entirely, because nothing is certain this time.
I'm loving the Swain, because Swain bottom is absurd. The best supports in the game right now are Pyke, Alistar, and the synergy is crazy. You just W with Alistar, pull one in, and you just have a full combo for free with Swain.
Pyke Swain is dirty.
That's what me and Medic were saying backstage. We saw the Swain plus the Pyke, like instantly. That is a nasty bottom lane backstage, and I mean it worked.
So for me, I'm interested in this one pick from Wunder, because for me, Wunder's been like the best top laner in Europe. He's really been standing out. Like, what's your opinion on Wunder right now?
I think Wunder is for sure one of the better top laners. He's always had a good idea of what to play. When I worked with him, I still have a very high opinion of him. I'm very surprised they managed to just go for the Ornn lock-in, because I think Red side is all about last picking, and I think Wunder has the deep enough champion pool to punish something like a Mundo. And I think the Mundo into Ornn matchup is good for Mundo, and that's strange for me.
Yeah, are you disappointed that they don't try and leverage the fact that Wunder has been so dominating so far by maybe keeping it for a last pick and keeping it as a card where they can win this game with?
Like, it's really, really strange. Like, you know for sure Soa's going to play a tank up top. You have to rotate the Trundle, deny it from the Swain. I think it's really strange that Trundle goes through for such a long time here.
And for me, I'm thinking back to finals where Wunder was on tank duty that whole series, and I want to see him on a carry. I want him to be able to win lane and to be able to dominate and then do really well for G2, and Ornn's not that pick for me.
So yeah, you were saying in the video beforehand that you think Wunder is going to be this big factor. Do you think that is now negated? So what are you looking at next for G2? Where does the power come from?
I mean, it has to be perks, right? And actually, I think this is the Morgana Tom Kench in the bot lane that we've seen a lot in the LCK. So even though it might not be a funnel comp for G2, it is still very much about setting up perks in the mid lane to carry.
I think the question is what mid laner will G2 get their hands on? If they get either Aurelia or they just fourth pick Trundle and wait for the last pick. I think either way, the Morgana Tamkench is a good denial towards Alistar Swain, but they will have the pressure and they'll scale better as well. So I'm not too big of a fan what G2 has presented to the table. It's just components of something that is not whole yet.
And we heard beforehand that Perk said people always say it's Caps versus Perks. Well, no, it is actually just Fnatic versus G2. Unfortunately, it does look like it's going to come down to the power picks for the mid laners, and we like to see that.
Yeah, I really like this Kai'Sa ban. So Fnatic obviously taking away the Braum, taking away their Kai'Sa. They're clearly just about not letting G2 play this like really stupid funnel comp. I actually...
Oh, what's that? You don't like it?
I want to plant the seed right here.
Yeah.
We've seen Zyra Khan in a funnel before, and when I see Morgana Tom Kench, I still feel like G2 are trying to pull that out.
We've seen Illusion too, so maybe we'll see that. But I don't know. How do you feel? Can you fit a funnel comp like this?
Like you could, right? I feel like that's the only way you make sense of the Trundle ban, because I think Trundle fourth pick is the obvious pick. Maybe they're afraid of Broxah playing Nidalee or Kindred.
There it is.
Oh,
it's
he is the prediction god. At least one half already.
Yeah, and they've got the two spites, so 100% baby.
Yeah, I don't like this at all. I think Fnatic, put all your money right there, you know. Fnatic is in good hands, I think, draft-wise.
All right, so Ender, break it down for us. For people who might be confused and haven't tuned into this meta so much, what is G2 trying to do here?
G2 are putting all the resources in the perks basket so he can 1v5 in the late game. He's got three, I'll count Ornn as a support. He's got 4 supports to back him up here on this Xayah. And Xayah is unique as, you know, that hyper carry jungler, that super carry that we call her, because she has a lot of protection for herself. And that's usually how you beat this type of strategy. You shut her down and you focus her out. And because of her ultimate, she can, you know, get out of tough situations.
I think the most important part here for Fnatic, I like the fact that they pick Zoe. Because Zoe is one of the better champs into it, because she can push the wave. And if you push the wave, all of a sudden you can deny. And I think we're going to see a lot of action in the mid lane. I think Zoe and Camille are going to try to kill the Zyra Khan over and over. And that's the way in here.
Yeah, I really like these really aggressive, very proactive picks. I like the Camille, I like the Alistair, I like the Zoe. You know, all of these champions can really set things up, especially if they abuse Fog of War. If they can get control of the mid lane area, like Yamina said, control the vision, hide in the bushes. I really think it's going to be.
If I summarize
it's going to be really easy to.
Fnatic wins the draft then for all of you, or?
I think there's some leeway. I think there's some leeway for G2. I think there can be scenarios where G2 scale good into the later parts of the game and they have very strong kiting potential. Because Swain is very kiteable, Mundo's very kiteable. If they deny the engage, they can
So
hold on.
Jankos is actually going to be laning bot with Wadid in this game because they swapped the Rakan to bottom lane with the exhaust. That's very interesting. I'm not sure if I'm sold. I've never seen Jankos play actual support, but he's been conditioned into it by G2. He's not happy.
Can we just
he's
point
playing
out
the carry, though.
Perks is playing Tomkinch.
Wait, they...
No.
No.
Oh, is he not?
Yeah,
Oh,
20 seconds is what it was.
Yeah. I saw
But still,
the
it'll be Wadid following Perks around in the jungle, which is the only, you know, mix-up here for G2. as far
I
as the
love it.
jungle
I just
goes.
love
It's
the
sick.
fact that they're throwing us for a loop, especially with Bwipo is now in the bottom lane. So we're like, okay, we've got all the craziness under control. We know what's coming. But G2 says, you've got another thing coming. We have something prepared for this all-important clash. That will say, for now at least, who is the best team in Europe for now. Is it Fnatic or is it G2 eSports? And we're going to see if Caps puts on a clinic or if Perks is the one that is victorious. We will hear in just a bit. But first, as we load onto the Rift, let's head over to Medic and Fnatic's coach.
Thank you, Shox. I'm joined by Dylan Falco. Now, Dylan, we've seen G2 run these funnel comps time after time throughout the first 2 weeks of the split. What are Fnatic going to do to actually deny G2's funnel?
The funnel comp is a very high-risk, high-reward strat. If they get ahead early game or things go well, the game will get really out of control. But we put a lot of focus into our early game planning for this one. So I think if we can get ahead early, it'll look good.
Got to get ahead early. We'll hand it over to your casters. Guys, take it away.
Thank you very much, and welcome to the match of the week, ladies and gentlemen. The Spring Split Finals rematch, and you could not ask for a better showdown. Fnatic's Goon Squad strategy, minus Zoe, taking on G2's funnel comp strategy that they've shown such great execution with, Vedius.
It's going to be so much fun to watch. So, Perks is going to be jungling with Wadid. We're going to have a bot lane of Hyanan and Jankos. Guys, I know the images on the right-hand side are a little confusing, but it is simply the setup that we have from these guys.
Do not adjust your picture.
Yeah.
This is real. This is
real.
happening.
Yep. On the left-hand side, Fnatic have gone for what they found a lot of success with. We're seeing Whipper on another mage down the bottom lane. We already heard Jamada on the desk talk about how good Swain is in the bottom lane right now when paired up with some of these more aggressive supports. And Broxah, he's on a playmaker, something that we've seen a lot of success with over the last week.
Yeah, and of course, looking at the matchup, looking at match of the week, this is the historic win-loss between Fnatic and G2. 14 wins for Fnatic, 16 historically for G2, but crucially, G2 have not won a single game this year against Fnatic. They are 0-8 in 2018. We'll have to see whether or not they can turn that around. I have a question for you guys at home. Who do you think will win this? Jump onto chat. Jump onto Twitch chat or YouTube and type FNC or G2. Spam it, spam it, spam it. We're going to actually track who you believe is going to win this game live right now in chat. FNC or G2. And the funnel comp is winning. G2 Army represent. Fnatic fans rally because Wonder is going to get jumped on. Hookshot comes in. First blood, Fnatic.
So while the fans might be in G2's favor, Broxah is trying to silence the critics. He gets an early kill up topside, and G2 use this as an opportunity to invade.
Booyah, baby! The Fnatic faithful have turned this around. It's not done yet. Whippo and Helisack jumping onto Hyanan down bottom. Jankos going low. He's looking for the Devour. Gobble, gobble, gobble. Lobster's hungry. Not going to find it yet. The Death's Hand from Whippo sends Jankos running. Of course, Jankos not the most experienced bot laner on professional play.
So much action already happening, quick shot. We haven't even been able to talk about what's going on in the actual game. Fnatic are leading the fan vote right now in the chat. G2 are falling behind as they are in terms of the early game. But there are so many things to talk about. Let's start by talking about Caps on the Zoe. No, we won't. We'll talk about this replay first off because Broxah, he sets up a level 2 gank up top. Red into Scuttle, into top lane. He's just waiting for Wonder to burn his flash. He then uses his E to close the gap and get the stun, and he's willing to sacrifice that the summoner spells as you see more fighting bot.
All right, Trample stun's going to connect just for a moment, but thanks to the Devour, Kionan's able to escape with his life. I'm going to go back to the Zoe for a moment or two, Vedius. He's currently uncontested caps, pushing that mid lane as Perks, as well as Wadid, are roaming through the jungle.
Main reason why I want to talk about the Zoe for caps is because it's really important against these funnel comps to be able to push and punish in the middle lane. Not only does caps on Zoe have great pick potential, which sets up potential ganks onto Perks when he's trying to clear out the mid wave, but also you can just keep the mid wave under the tower that makes things even harder to deal with. Now, again, engage in the bot.
Never move comes back. There's support coming from Broxah. Fnatic are looking for a kill. Hyunan's already flashed away defensively, and Jankos with no flash available and Grey health about to pop. Bwipo picks up the kill.
And it's all about Broxah in this early game. The thing about a funnel comp is there's no jungler. Perks is the one with the smite, and he's spending all of his time farming, which is allowing Broxah to make plays all around the map. First top side and now down bot.
And of course, Bwipo, the recipient of the kill, he's got a 37 KDA after his 2 games in bot lane. Currently undefeated as a bot laner. Damage percentage 32%. Also, by the way, his win-loss with Fnatic, 9-1, Vedius. That's a pretty successful win-loss column.
We had him on PGL last week, and he talked about his confidence, and we got to see it here. He's the one that actually sets up this play, landing the double root. Helaslang's then able to just walk in range, start channeling the stun, and they've got enough CC between them to just start locking down the members of G2. With the assistance of Camille as well, they have more than enough damage to secure the kill, and it is Bwipo that picks that one up for himself.
And of course, for those of you interested, Bwipo is actually our POV stream for today. So if you head over to Twitch TV Riot Games 2, you can actually see his POV in the bottom corner right now. Now you can see it, full screen.
See his clicking, the kind of motions that he makes,
yes.
What it's like to play top lane down in the bot lane, if you're curious as to that. Given how the meta is, I'm sure it's a very valuable learning experience.
It is, and for fans of our POV streams in the past, we've often been a curse. POV stream players have often been Grayscale or Ezreal only.
True.
Or disappointing performances. Bwipo with a kill under his belt, and good performances already off well. Let's get back to screen though. 1,000 gold up, Fnatic are 2-0. And I want to highlight something that you mentioned, Vedius. Without a jungler on G2's side, Broxah has been uncontested around the map. He's 28 CS to 0, doesn't count. But more importantly, the impact is felt because he's got kills for his top laners.
Exactly that quick shot. He's being active. He's trying to make plays up top side. I think the fact that Camille often does so well into Ornn as well really helps. But he's just kind of looking for opportunities that aren't just around mid, and he's trying to take advantage of the pressure that he does have on both side lanes. He did this last week when he got his hands on Nocturne up against Vitality as well, and it's nice to see that for a while he was relegated to supports, but he hasn't forgotten how to jungle. He still knows how to be active, he still knows how to be involved with the rest of his team, and he's farming pretty well and setting up his laners for success.
Now, I've seen these funnel comps several times. Vedius, you and I actually casted 2 weeks ago, if I recall. And I remember saying to you, at what point does this funnel comp, it was a Kai'Sa at the time, just come online and take over?
Yes.
How is it different with the Xayah Rakan? And, you know, can G2 afford to fall further behind knowing they've got this late game safety?
Well, I've got to be honest, Quickshot, this is not something that I have the most expertise on, because we have seen the Xayah Rakan kind of funnel strategy over in the LCK, I believe. But outside of that, it hasn't really been that popular, and that's kind of because Xayah hasn't found a huge amount of success in the current meta, because there's no real optimal itemization build. What I'm expecting to see is more focus in terms of the crit strategy, build her more towards that late game style of AD, but it's always around that. You always say the level 16 mark, but for Xayah, that's less relevant. It's much more about the item spikes that you hit, and you're looking ideally at around 3 items. The jungle item, a crit item, and then the damage item.
Okay, I'll keep
What
my
item
eyes
path he chooses to do, we'll have to wait and see.
When it's been bot lane Xayahs, I've seen going Stormrazers a lot.
Yeah, I don't know if that makes the most sense in terms of a funnel. That's the thing. So we'll see. That's why I'm curious as to what itemization he chooses to go for. We'll just use it as a learning opportunity.
Exactly. So far, that Skirmisher Saber almost completed for Perks. Wadid just going to be holding this lane for now as Caps continues to put some pressure down. Uncontested in that mid lane most of the time. Farming up a Storm, and going to be crucial to see whether or not Caps can find some of those picks. And a lot of the hype videos we saw coming into this game We saw Caps solo killing Perks a couple of times and showing off his prowess on this champion.
Yeah, the two mid laners do have quite a rivalry. They haven't really been had the opportunity to play against each other that much this game, but over the last year, it has been a constant back and forth between the two where, well, surprising to perhaps some, Caps has actually been the one to come out ahead. We don't have time because the bot lane fight is happening.
All right, Bjarnen's going in for the Soul Shackles. Going to get interrupted for a moment or two. Support's coming from Perks and Wadid. And Hylissang will be the target. He's taken down, donated to Perks. G2's on the board.
And this is what G2 can do with given the lack of a jungler. They just send both Perks and Wadid down into a lane with optimal setup to find themselves a couple of kills. And given that Hylissang had already used his flash earlier on to try and get the kills in favor of their team, he's also only level 5. That becomes very easy. You can see the pings coming down. I believe they end up getting spotted. They recognize that this is happening, but he can't get out of this situation. He ends up going down.
Very good gank, punishing that lane that was pushed forward.
And this is something that G2 do a lot with the funnel comp. They don't just sit there and farm all the time. They don't just wait for an opportunity to kind of rely on these late game fights. They're actually surprisingly proactive in the early game, and Ender's breakdown earlier in Ready Check kind of illustrated that, where last week they often went top lane to find a couple of free kills, and it just kind of increases the momentum, increases the pace of the game, because you're getting even more gold and kills onto your character.
And that's of course the strength of G2. There seems to be a more controlled, more calculated team. Perks is getting more confidence and more development with this G2 squad that's leaning into the funnel comp. Caps is on your screen now while he's not got a kill. I want to look at some of the head-to-head stats between Caps and Perks, because historically, Perks has had a difficult time against Caps. Caps 12 wins to 8. Caps has solo killed Perks 5 times across the entire career of playing into G2 eSports. And it seems like every time I want to get one of these stories out, action happens. Call of the Forge God comes out. I don't think that was redirected. Wonder's going to be lucky to survive for the time being. This is a big fight in the top lane. Stopwatch buys enough time for Soas to heal, but Perks is fighting on the flank. Devour comes up from Yankos. He manages to save Wonder. Nobody dies in EU's match of the week. But the fight isn't done yet. Bwipo gets the never move route to the passive pullback, but G2 will survive for the time being. Everybody joined the fight, Vedius, but nobody went down.
So we end up with a party in the top lane, but everyone walks away clean. Fnatic unable to find any kills. They do use a couple of summoner spells, and they're able to gain a bit of pressure, but Fnatic had their eyes set on the tower. They wanted to take that down, maybe convert it into a Rift Herald, which they could have utilized in the middle lane, but instead, Perks and Wadid responded in time. They were able to turn the play around and just mitigate some of the pressure that Fnatic tried to set up.
Yeah, really, really good setup. It's an even gold game. And I was talking about Perks and Caps' stats, and you know, Perks definitely used that meme or that story, the branding of the lane kingdom. Caps has always been the ruler in this head-to-head. You know, old kings or new doesn't really matter, but get away from the lane. Perks is getting all the resources funneled into him, and he's leaning into an alternative strategy to take down Caps and Fnatic in this crazy meta time. And we're getting to 12 minutes on the clock, and this Xayah is starting to power up. Got that first jungle item completed, working towards the crit, and then the damage item that is where we expect Perks to take off.
Exactly that. I think it's going to take a little bit more time for G2, and the fact that they are even right now and haven't lost the tower is a pretty good situation for them to be in. But Fnatic right now have primary control over a lot of the lanes. Caps is very close to taking down that mid tower. I believe it's at like 45% HP. And as long as he just keeps pushing in that minion wave, that tower is slowly going to be chipped further and further away. And they really want to put a little bit more focus on this Rift Herald to try and help secure some of these outer towers. Because the more of the map you control, the more you can then invade and limit the amount of resources that Perks is funneling into himself. He currently only has 1 level over Caps, which is a fine situation for Fnatic to be in. But they have their eyes set on the mid lane of Fnatic and will not be able to find anything for now.
No, not just yet. Sleepy Trouble Bubble found a target, but there was no paddle star to follow it up. So Caps backs away with his life. He's got that Luden's Echo completed. First items for most of the Fnatic laners. Spirit Visage for top, Roa for Bwipo. And as it stands, G2 are looking for another proactive play. This is the active funnel comp and instant quickness from Wadid. Bwipo is getting dunked. Wonders on the board with his first kill. Perks is here to clean it up, and it's Jankos that secures it. G2 with a kill lead and a gold lead.
Extremely well played from G2. They use the Tahm Kench ultimate to bring more members up towards topside. Wonder uses his teleport to set up a follow-up as well. And G2 with 5 members top find themselves 2 kills, but it will cost them a tower.
All right, tower first blood is secured. Broxah hops over the wall with the thanks of that hook shot. And Soaz will take a tower down bottom. This is an interesting trade. 2 kills for 2 towers. I think Fnatic are happy with that.
And I don't know if Morgana's going to be able to get the tower in the top side as well. I saw a couple of pings towards the Rift Herald, but let's have a look. Look at your mini-map. You can see the Rakan gets brought in by the Tahm Kench to set up the play. You then have the ulti from Hjarnan, and there's just so much chain CC that there's nothing really that Bwipo and Hylissang can do to get out of this situation. 5 versus 1. Yes, it was a good collapse, but in terms of overall gain, you could argue that Fnatic are the ones to come out ahead, and now they have priority on the Rift Herald because G2 have to reset.
Dude, if they get 2 towers and heralds, for just 2 kills, which didn't even go to Perks, that's definitely a big advantage for Fnatic, especially if they can use this Herald to unlock more. The Church of Scuttlecrab here in Berlin going a bit mad for the kill on the background. And of course those item spikes I was talking about just before the fight, now mirrored on the side of G2. Wonder, as well as Hjarnan joining in the fray. It's such a unique game where you have 2 completely distinct playstyles for 2 of the top performing teams in Europe going head to head. I think you add Misfits to the equation, you have the top 3 teams in Summer right now. And they've all got drastically different approaches and play styles, and we're actually seeing Fnatic and G2 go head to head with this Goon Squad versus Funnel Comp.
Yes, and right now it is Fnatic that have the gold lead, but that doesn't necessarily mean that they're the ones that are in control of the game, because when you look at kind of the vision that's spread out, G2 have the bottom river pretty much covered and the entrances towards their top side. This makes it difficult for Fnatic to invade and deny a lot of the jungle camps that are going to be funneled into Perks right now. For the time being, Fnatic, they're just looking to get out with their lives as Bwipo has been caught.
All right, Bwipo's been devoured. Wonder's going to face plant into the wall. Call of the Forge God comes out. Bwipo's still in trouble. He's already used the flash, and that's Perks that picks up the kill. So that's the 4th of the game to G2. Bwipo, a little bit of a mistake. How costly will this be? Because now G2 have also got positioning on the tower.
They have the Rift Herald though, so just keeping an eye on where Camille. She's actually heading down towards the bot side. They're expecting a response from G2 in the mid, and so they're going to use the wave that they already have a bot to start sieging onto this tower. And again, G2 still can't secure this tower from the top lane. They will finally be able to get it, but think about how much time they've lost.
And at what cost? Because if Fnatic get 2 towers for 1, potentially with that Herald, all right, Captain's going to be chunking down this middle tower. We've gone past the 15-minute mark, and for the first time in Summer, G2 were behind in gold at 15 minutes when playing a funnel comp. Fnatic, they're conceding kills, but they're getting the objective game while the towers are not dead. That is a lot of objective damage. That standing gold is just a few sieges away from being knocked over.
It's still so very close between these 2 teams. And see, the thing is, Bwipo thinks he's safe because he's actually got vision everywhere, but the one place that he doesn't have vision is literally the lane to the river. So Jankos just comes out of nowhere. He doesn't flash in time, so Jankos is able to lock him down long enough for the rest of G2 to secure the kill. But again, overall, the kind of gains that Fnatic got, that's a lot of damage onto the tier 2 towers in mid and bot. So Fnatic aren't too upset about that, but I'm sure Bwipo is now that he doesn't have his flash.
Yeah.
But this is still such a close game. Hjarnan has been doing extremely well. He's farming effectively. 0-0-4 on the Morgana. And you think about Xayah with a Morgana and a Rakan setup. There's huge amount of engage, loads of peel. This game is still incredibly close, and the longer it goes, the better it is for G2.
Okay, so this is exciting. Perks, by the way, he's picked up that Executioner's Calling to go with the Rapid Fire Cannon. Okay. Where did Shirelia's Reverie. Jankos, you saw his mechanics there, dodging those skill shots. Real mastery of Tahm Kench. He's 1-1-3. A little bit of sarcasm there in case you didn't catch it. But doing his job. His Devours have been on point. Right place, right time. And G2 definitely on the same page when it comes to securing the kills, when it comes to punishing people out of position. And they've managed to defend those 2 inner turrets in mid and bottom lane. So they're holding steady. Now, how How much time do Fnatic have, Vedius? If you like G2 scaling, you like the later game, right? Like, is it very drastic, or do you still like Fnatic's chances with this?
I mean, right now, I think Fnatic are fun. If they go for a 5v5 fight in this point in the game, I wouldn't be as confident. But I think that in terms of their ability to just group up mid and start sieging, and to play around Baron, I think they're in an okay position. Once G2 completes his next major item is when it becomes scary. And if Caps dies, ooh.
Look, this is not the match for ultimate bragging rights, but with Perks being able to take down Caps, and now G2 looking to set up another play. Teleport's going up into the top lane, Never Move comes down. Bwipo's in Demonic Ascension, but he doesn't have much support. Wadid's running for his life in the back end as here comes Soaz. Call of the Forge God, and it's sent way the wrong way. It may not matter though. G2 in a better position with a numbers advantage, and they've got themselves a Super Xayah.
Terrible decision-making from Fnatic and a great punish from G2. After getting the kill onto Caps, Fnatic should have just disengaged, gotten out of that situation, but G2 did not want to let them. They punished Broxah for being in the enemy jungle. They find themselves another double kill onto the bot lane of Fnatic, and now they secured themselves another turret in the mid. The gold lead starting to snowball in the favor of G2.
5-0-1 for Perks on that Xayah. And it all started with Wadid and Perks jumping onto Caps.
So, this is where it all starts. Ooh, Wadid reads the play and goes in with the ulti to lock him down. Then Perks knows that, you know what, if I just body block for Wadid, he should be in a fine situation. Broxah was trying to invade because he had pressure up topside, but then he realizes, no, we no longer have pressure mid, and the enemy team is collapsing. Bwipo should not have gone in here. You don't have the numbers, Soaz is nowhere near, Broxah can't get involved, and it effectively becomes a 2v5 that there's no way you're going to be able to win. So Perks just picks up even more kills. 5-0-1 right now.
Yeah.
And the funnel comp is coming into full effect.
So Perks is sending a pretty clear message to Fnatic. I think you can all read that one. He's doing exceptionally well, 5-0-1. I also totally miscalled that call of the Forge God. Wonder tagged exactly who he wanted to in the Baron pit, and with the help of Perks, I definitely think that damage graph will continue to grow. Chat spam on YouTube and Twitch definitely in favor of G2 as they're in the lead. Hylissang gets chugged down by the quickness. The Baron is helping out G2. Hjarnan and Wadid now diving into the pit. Baron is going to be the focus. It's going to be donated. It's gift wrapped. It's packaged. And it's given to G2 eSports.
G2 could not have asked for a better Baron as Fnatic crumble and G2 mount a 5,000 gold lead against their rivals.
What a fantastic mid-game for G2. It only took a rapid fire cannon and an executioner's calling for Perks to start the snowball. Now he's sitting on 2 Infinity Edges, a Baron buff 6-0-1. I think that'll be an Infinity Edge as well. And here's a replay of that Baron fight.
So Fnatic are just trying to trade Baron for the kill down bot. And the decision making is fine, but they just take so much damage. Hylissang can tank it up. They're sitting in the back of the Baron pit and taking all this poke from Hjarnan as well. And then once they get low enough, G2's like, all right, well, then we're just going to dive you in this Baron pit. We have Morg ulti. We have the Tahm Kench as well. And Perks is like, oh, thank you very much. I'll take that. We'll take another mid tower. And we'll walk away as a happy G2.
Yep, 6,000 gold up. Infinity Edge completed now. That Super Xayah, that funnel comp from G2 Esports has once again been executed exceptionally well. These two teams will be representing EU at Rift Rivals next week, and the different styles is going to be interesting to see how it matches up. For now, G2 are looking to push home this lead, and Vedius pick up their first win against Fnatic for the year.
Definitely a momentous occasion for G2 if they can pull off finally getting a bit of revenge for what was a 3-0 final in favor of Fnatic. Perks himself said that he started to kind of run dry towards the end of the split. He was starting to feel burnt out, but he is back in full force, and he is looking to deliver Fnatic another loss.
Okay, now, of course, the one counterpoint to this, there's a Camille, there's a Swain, there's a Zoe. If Perks gets himself caught in a baby cage and taken out, there's no ways the other 4 members can win. So
you'd think, but there's a Black Shield, there's a Tahm Kench, there's a Rakan. There are so many tools to just keep him at arm's length that it is very difficult for Fnatic to get the collapse down and guarantee a kill onto Perks. On top of that, he's got his ulti as well. So he's now completed the 3 major items we talked about. This is kind of that late game carry. state that Fnatic was so afraid of. They're going for an all-in.
They are indeed. Perks has already used that Featherstorm. Perks is the target, so has managed to find him. There's the Devour as well. Keep your eyes on Perks. He spit out on the right of the fight. Perks puts the damage down on the Soaz. Soaz trying to zone him away. Kianan takes a panel start to the face, and Perks is still being zoned by Soaz, but the rest of Fnatic do not have enough. They don't have the damage, and G2 find 3.
Fnatic go for the desperation play, but it wasn't enough. Perks off the back of his team carries them through the team fight, and with 15 kills, they have their eyes set on the Nexus.
Oh, it's 20-second death time, and still G2 Esports have Baron for another 40. They're looking for the win. Caps is jumping onto Adid on the back end, and he's being zoned out. Yet another kill to Perks. He's legendary. 9, 0, and 2. The target of Hillisang is being zoned and chunked out. Yankos gets a lick that sticks and sends him packing. There's at least one reply into one, but it simply doesn't matter. Nobody cares, because G2 Esports are onto the Nexus. They're forcing it down, but there is a lot of resistance coming up. The Nexus is slowly being chipped away. Perks is trying to focus the champions, and he's being zoned away. Fnatic are holding on. They're not dead yet. Now they might be. Broxe is out. A quick follow from Bwipo. G2 are looking for Soaz as well before they turn their attention to the Nexus. And for the first time in 2018, G2 defeat Fnatic. Exceptional demonstration. Communication, control, and it just looked like the undefeated G2 from the entirety of Summer so far.
Things were looking a little grim for G2. They weren't able to trade a lot in terms of objectives. They were finding kills, but it was Fnatic that were taking control of the map. But then G2, they found that kill onto Caps. They snowballed into more kills. And then when they secured that Baron, where they lost no members, that was the game locked in for G2. And if you're a G2 fan, this is the kind of growth you wanted to see. This team struggled last split. Yes, they made it to the finals, but they didn't come close to Fnatic. But this time round, they delivered the win on a silver platter, and Perks was the one that led the way.
And the questions, the setup, the questions. Bwipo, the starter over Reckless, the Goon squad that looked so good last week, that actually looked so good at the beginning of the game. Fnatic, they just faltered. One or two small picks. Bwipo getting caught by blue buff. Caps being caught in the middle lane. It's those small mistakes that you have to think tip the snowball over the hill and just send Perks flying to victory.
Cool, and it's going to be so fascinating to see these guys competing at Rift Rivals as well. Relying on the funnel strat. Clearly this is a strategy they believe is the strongest in the current meta right now.
Yes.
And teams cannot punish them, or at least so far in EU, we haven't found a way of being able to shut this down. Xiaonan and Yankos playing a successful bottom lane with the Morgana and the Tahm Kench. The fact that Perks was able to find so much successful farm, didn't lose his life, 11, 0, and 3 at the end of that game. He had 16,000 gold. That is double what Caps had by the end of the game.
Unbelievable. Unbelievable. You can see the post-game screen here. 19 kills, 4 deaths, 55 assists for G2. Really, really funneling everything together. Working so exceptionally well. We do actually have a replay coming up in a moment or two of one of the Baron fights that turned everything around. And if I recall correctly, is a Dark Binding that catches Bwipo. The reason I call that out... no, this is the much earlier Baron.
Yes.
The POV stream again. Bwipo unfortunately cursed. I think we're going to have to get our stats team to look into what the win-loss is when you're on POV, because it can't be very hard.
And the thing is, again, really want to illustrate that the decision-making here from Fnatic made sense. They wanted to lock down the Baron, given that so many people were sent bot, and off the back of this Acer replay, you can see that G2 were able to finally get themselves, I say finally, they were able to cleanly secure themselves a Baron after just a bit of patient play, and a good collapse.
It's the first win of the year for G2 eSports. It comes against a Fnatic squad not playing reckless, so definitely adds some question marks into how things are going to shape up later in the split. Take a look at our Player of the Game nominees for our Match of the Week. It was Hyanin, Perks, or Wadid. They are your votes. Head over to LL Esports and vote. Who do you think you would vote for?
Jankos, the true carry of the team.
I think so
all the
too.
praise given to all the carries.
What do you think that these two representatives plus Splice are going to do at Rift Rivals?
Oh, I think they're going to smash.
Well, there we go. Make sure you send us your favorite NA versus EU memes. We're going to throw those on Ready Check tomorrow. Before that and before PGL, let's check in with Medic and the G2 bot lane. Is that Jankos, though? Because it's not really the bot lane, then.
Thank you very much, Trevor. I am joined by Wadid and Hyanin. The traditional bot lane is what we'll call you. Congratulations on the win, guys. Great to see you take the win against Fnatic after almost a year of being beaten by them. As a team, do you think this means that you're now the best team in Europe, Wadid?
Yeah, I mean, for us, Spring Split was like completely new team, and like it was the season for preparing rest of the season. So personally, we got really like shocked that we actually got second place. Even like it was so hard. We got some luck there, but like Summer Split, we will make way better for sure.
I'm looking forward to it. And I want to talk a little bit about that sort of development split, because the bottom lane, and specifically you, Hyanin, was a point where a lot of people said this is one of G2's main weaknesses. What is it that's helped you develop into Summer Split and really become one of G2's strengths?
I mean, I think it's just like in the beginning, it's really hard as a new team to play AD carry when the team is not like fully, how do I say it, like we weren't really there on point as a team, and we weren't really playing really good. And as an AD carry, it just gets a bit harder, I guess, to play AD carry role, because I got caught a lot during like the first weeks of last split. But then towards the end, I think I was playing a lot better though, when we actually managed to like get better as a team. So I don't think I'm like a weakness or anything to our team, no.
To be honest, like it looked like weakness because our bot lane goal was like just only like not dying and 5-5, and then we always focus on top side, because we were having Wonder and Perks, which is like strong carries. But Yarnan is also carry, like he carried on Rocket and he's like improving. I mean, he's not even improving, like he's already good. So like we can also play on bot side, and then we learn how to play on bot side right now. So like there is no weakness anymore right now.
Yeah, I mean, it's very easy for me to say weakness when I don't know the strategy behind the team. So it's great to see that now you're able to develop and play as a whole team, because we're seeing things like the Heimerdinger and the Fiddle, and then we saw you play Rakan in the jungle today as well. What was the decision-making process behind that? Instead of putting Jankos on the Rakan, you decided to take it yourself?
First of all, compared to Braum, Rakan is more like hard to learn the champion. You can have like insane combos. Like you cannot learn. Like, and also Jankos is also having really bad mechanically, so he can only play Braum and Tankage because he's really easy champion for no-brain players. So yeah, I think that's the main point. Yeah.
As a Rakan one trick, I'm very happy you said he's a hard champion to play. I'm going to record that and play that back to Vedius whenever he says it's too easy to play. I want to talk about how you think the meta is going to evolve, though, guys, because we've got 8-13 coming in. There's nerfs to the gold funneling strategy, nerfs to Ginsu's Rage Blade. Do you think that's going to affect you a lot as a team?
I mean, we don't only play this strategy, obviously. So I mean, I don't think it will affect us too much. But some of our strategies we just have to like either change how we approach them and do something else, of course. And I don't think it will change too much for us as a team. I don't think so, no.
Okay, and do you think coming up into Rift Rivals, we're going to see some of your new strategies? Because that is on 8-13.
I mean, I think we will use Rift Rivals to test a lot of new stuff and to come back then to Europe and see if they actually work good or not. So it's kind of good to have like, I guess you can say like testing week in NA.
Yeah, I mean, we didn't even show like our complete role swap. Like you can just imagine like role swap everywhere and like oh my god, G2 already won. Oh.
When you say you're using Rift Rivals as a testing week, what you mean is you're going to go over there and destroy some North American teams, right?
No, I mean I will play mid, top, and jungle. Like I'll play every role, so that's what I mean with testing. Yeah.
I'm looking forward to it. Thank you very much, guys. We're going to hand it over to the post-game lobby. See you guys soon.